Forbidden shore. Imagine your boat drifting towards a beautiful tropical island, white beaches, crystal clear water, dense jungle. It looks like paradise. Then, figures begin emerging from the trees, not to welcome you, but to make sure you never come any closer. This is North Sentinel Island, one of the last places on Earth that humans still can't reach. Hidden in the Indian Ocean, it's home to the Sentinelese, one of the world's last uncontacted tribes. They've lived in isolation for thousands of years, surviving without the modern world. Nobody knows exactly how many people live there. Nobody knows what language they speak, because almost nobody has ever survived long enough to find out. Whenever outsiders approach, the response is immediate. Arrows, spears, no warnings, no negotiations. Even helicopters have reportedly been met with arrows fired into the sky. But the greatest danger isn't their weapons, it's ours. The Sentinelese have almost no immunity to modern diseases, meaning even a simple cold could wipe out the entire tribe. That's why the Indian government has made it illegal to travel anywhere near the island, yet people still try. In 2018, an American missionary ignored every warning and landed on the beach, hoping to make contact. He never came back. Today, satellites can photograph every inch of the island from space. But beneath the trees, one of Earth's greatest mysteries is still watching the outside world from the shadows. Endless depths. Imagine floating in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. Beneath your boat, the water is so deep that Mount Everest could disappear below the surface and still be covered by more than 2 kilometers of ocean. No sunlight, no sound, just darkness that stretches for nearly 7 miles. This is the Mariana Trench, the deepest place on Earth. It might seem impossible that in an age of satellites and space travel, we'd know so little about our own planet. But we've sent more people to the moon than to the very bottom of this trench, so why hasn't anyone explored it? Because the deeper you go, the more the ocean tries to crush you. At the bottom, the pressure is over 1,000 times greater than at sea level, enough to destroy almost any submarine ever built. Only a handful of specially designed vehicles have ever made the journey, and every descent is incredibly difficult, expensive, and dangerous. Yet even in this crushing darkness, life exists. Strange, translucent fish, ghostly creatures, and bizarre animals that survive where they should never be able to. Scientists believe we've only discovered a tiny fraction of what's actually living down there. The rest remains hidden beneath kilometers of black water. The deepest part of our planet isn't another continent. It isn't another planet. It's directly beneath our feet, waiting in a darkness that humans still can't truly reach. Frozen secret. Imagine walking across a frozen desert that never seems to end. Nothing moves, nothing grows, just endless ice stretching to the horizon, but beneath your feet, an entire world has been hiding for millions of years. This is Lake Vostok, a lake so deeply buried beneath Antarctica that no human has ever seen it with their own eyes. It has remained completely sealed beneath nearly 4 kilometers of solid ice for so long that it existed before humans walked the Earth. Which raises an unsettling question. What if something is still alive down there? Scientists believe the lake could contain ancient microorganisms that have spent millions of years evolving in complete darkness, completely cut off from the rest of the planet. If that's true, they may have adapted in ways we've never seen before. So why don't we simply drill through the ice? Because the moment we reach the lake, we risk changing it forever. A single mistake could contaminate an ecosystem that has remained untouched for millions of years, destroying clues that can never be replaced. Today, we know the lake exists. We know it's one of the largest hidden lakes on Earth, but nobody has ever explored its mysterious shoreline. Nobody has ever looked into its dark waters. Some secrets are difficult to reach. Others have survived millions of years because humanity has never reached them at all. Hidden world. Imagine discovering an entrance to the world's largest cave. You step inside expecting darkness. Instead, you find a jungle, towering trees, flowing rivers, clouds drifting through the air. It sounds impossible, but this place is real. This is Son Doong Cave in Vietnam, one of the most extraordinary places on Earth. The cave is so enormous that parts of its ceiling have collapsed over thousands of years, allowing sunlight to pour inside. Over time, entire rainforests have grown beneath the ground, creating a hidden world completely separated from the one above. For years, nobody even knew it existed. A local man stumbled across the entrance in 1990, but was too frightened to go inside. The roar of an underground river echoing from the darkness convinced him to turn back. It wasn't until nearly 20 years later that the cave was finally rediscovered and explored. Even today, much of Sondung remains a mystery. Its enormous passages stretch for miles, with some sections still incredibly difficult to reach. Every expedition uncovers new chambers, strange rock formations, and species found nowhere else on Earth. Very few people are ever allowed to enter, not because it's impossible, but because this hidden ecosystem is so fragile that too many visitors could destroy it forever. Some of Earth's greatest wonders aren't hidden beneath the sea, they're hidden beneath our feet, waiting in the darkness for the next person brave enough to step inside. Poison Cave. Imagine taking a single breath and realizing the air around you could kill you. No monsters, no traps, just the atmosphere itself. This is Mobile Cave in Romania, one of the strangest places on Earth. For over 5 million years, it remained completely sealed off from the outside world. No sunlight has ever reached its depths. No fresh air flows through its tunnels. It's a place where almost everything we associate with life simply doesn't exist. So how can anything survive here? The answer shouldn't be possible. Instead of relying on sunlight, life inside the cave feeds on chemicals rising from the earth below. Bacteria thrive in the toxic water, creating an entire food chain unlike anywhere else on the planet. Spiders, scorpions, worms, and insects have evolved in complete isolation, with many species found nowhere else on Earth. Stepping inside isn't as simple as walking through a cave. The air contains dangerously low oxygen and high levels of poisonous gases, meaning scientists can only stay inside for short periods while wearing protective equipment. Even then, every visit is carefully controlled, because the slightest contamination could permanently damage an ecosystem that has survived untouched for millions of years. Most caves hide ancient secrets. Mobile Cave hides something even stranger, proof that when the rest of the world became impossible to survive, life simply invented its own rules. Alien Ocean. Imagine descending deeper into the ocean than any submarine was ever meant to go. The sunlight disappears, the temperature plummets, the pressure becomes so immense that almost anything built by humans would be crushed in seconds. You'd expect to find nothing. Instead, the seafloor comes alive. This is the East Scotia Ridge, hidden beneath the icy waters of the Southern Ocean between Antarctica and South America. Nearly 2.5 kilometers below the surface, giant cracks in the Earth's crust blast superheated water into the freezing sea, creating a landscape that looks more like another planet than Earth itself. When scientists first explored this place, they expected an underwater desert. What they found was unbelievable. Towering forests of ghostly white barnacles, strange sea stars, pale anemones swaying in complete darkness, creatures found nowhere else on Earth. The most astonishing part? None of them need sunlight to survive. Instead, tiny bacteria feed on chemicals erupting from deep inside the Earth, creating an entire ecosystem powered by the planet itself. Even reaching this hidden world is an enormous challenge. Robotic submarines must survive crushing pressure, freezing water, and total darkness just to spend a few hours exploring the seabed. Scientists believe they've barely scratched the surface, because somewhere beyond the glow of those underwater vents, an entire alien world may still be waiting to be discovered. Hidden mountains. Imagine discovering a mountain range the size of the Alps that nobody has ever seen, not because it's on another planet, not because it's impossible to find, but because an entire continent is hiding it. This is the Gamburtsev Mountains, buried beneath the frozen heart of Antarctica under more than 4 kilometers of solid ice. The peaks are believed to rise thousands of meters high. If the ice suddenly disappeared tomorrow, a landscape larger than many countries would emerge almost overnight, which raises an incredible question. How can something that enormous simply vanish? The answer lies millions of years in the past. Long before Antarctica became the frozen wilderness we know today, these mountains stood exposed beneath the sky. Then the climate changed. Ice spread across the continent, growing thicker and thicker until the entire range disappeared beneath it. Unlike most mountains, they were never carved away by rivers or worn down by wind. They were simply buried. Today, scientists can only glimpse them using aircraft, satellites, and powerful radar capable of seeing through kilometers of ice. No one has ever climbed these peaks. No one has ever stood in their valleys. No one even knows exactly what they look like. Somewhere beneath Antarctica, an entire lost mountain range has been waiting millions of years for the world to discover it. Beneath ice. Imagine standing on a frozen wilderness that looks completely empty, nothing but endless white stretching to the horizon. No mountains, no forests, no rivers, just ice. But what if everything beneath your feet was hiding an entirely different world? This is the Greenland ice sheet, where up to 3 kilometers of solid ice conceals a landscape that no human has ever explored. For decades, scientists assumed they knew what lay below. Then the radar started revealing something unbelievable. A canyon longer than the Grand Canyon, ancient river systems, hidden lakes, entire valleys carved into the rock before Greenland froze over hundreds of thousands of years ago. It was like discovering a lost continent, buried beneath the ice, and the deeper scientists looked, the stranger it became. Every new survey revealed features nobody expected to find, raising an incredible question. What else is still down there? Reaching it isn't as simple as drilling a hole. The ice is unimaginably thick, the conditions are among the harshest on Earth, and every meter deeper becomes more difficult than the last. So for now, this ancient landscape remains completely untouched. No human has ever walked those valleys, no one has ever followed those rivers, no one has ever stood where the ground has been hidden beneath ice for hundreds of thousands of years. We often say we've explored our planet, but beneath Greenland, an entire world is still waiting for its first visitor. Which of these places would you want to see the most? Let us know in the comments and subscribe for more journeys into the world's most incredible places.